Hey, good evening, folks. Chris and Tammy here. We're actually excited to be able to share this powerful presentation. And this evening, what we want to share with you here, just want to make sure everything is good. Can you guys give me a thumbs up confirming you see the PowerPoint? Okay, perfect. Tammy and I actually, I've really been doing some reflection in reference to leadership and stepping back and looking at what we've done and the reason we had success in our business and what it is that we do that maybe some do and some don't do, or they do at different levels. We thought of giving you an overview in line to choosing to lead. See, a lot of people come into our business, into this ecosystem of network marketing, and people want to make money, and that's clear. And everybody wants to make money, but there's a certain there's some protocol that are very important in creating a successful organization. And this is just a small segment of an actual ebook that Tammy and I are working on that will be made available, as a matter of fact. And we thought of sharing this because it's really the foundation. See, every day, leadership can really improve your life in so many different aspects. If I think of how my life personally has evolved, and Tammy could probably reflect, within the same, yes, with the same idea, how our lives have been impacted. Tammy, would you agree with me on that?
Oh yeah, I mean, many instances. For example, when I got my first vehicle, celebration vehicle, I guess you could say, I realized when I got the material item that it was never about that. It was about who I became in the process, and all of you who are going through those changes. It's important to recognize that as you are leaders. Every single person has the ability to lead, and we're going to share some insights with you on that.
Absolutely. In fact, across the years, the perception and definition of leadership it really has changed. Leadership used to mean a position, right? A role in a, I don't know if I'm going to say this correctly in English, hierarchy. Did I say that in English correctly, Tammy?
Hierarchy, I think.
Hierarchy.
Hierarchy. The corporate world, the environment.
Thanks,
that. Thank you, Jasmine. The environment that the corporate world has presented, and it's always the way we've seen, and even still today, we look at a CEO and executives, and that's what we perceive as leaders and the role of leadership. But today, leadership is more of a skill than a role, and that's what we want to touch on this evening. And as we move forward here on this particular slide, here's something that I think is important. An important question is, what is leadership to you? And, as I'm sharing, and as we are sharing here this evening, here's what Tammy and I would love for you to do is, in the chat portion, express in, point form. I do understand that you can't really write a book here, but what is leadership for you? What does leadership represent for me? For me, for example, if I start myself, leadership is a role of responsibility. As a leader, I have seen the impact and the influence I have over others. And I take that very, very seriously, because I know we've impacted people's lives and decisions and directions in our lives. And I don't take that lightly. So for me, leadership is a role to inspire people, to get people in a position to have some direction. Sometimes people are a little bit confused, or it's cloudy, if you understand. I'm trying to find the right word to express exactly the feeling I want to represent, is confusion. And as a leader, as a mentor, what I see myself is, based on my own experience and the results that I know many would love to have, what it is that I do. How did I get there? What are decisions that I did? About, the consistency and being persistent, and at the same time, always understand that you're in a position that you need to evolve all the time. You can't stay the same as a leader. So this is what leadership means to me. Is there anybody that would like to share? I know, Jasmine, you've shared some. Okay. You asked me to put an example. Is there anybody that'd like to share? What does leadership means to them? Love to hear from you.
No, I didn't mean, sorry, it's Jasmine. I didn't mean for you to set an example. What I meant was leadership is setting an example.
Oh,
like we as leaders set an example, not saying it, but, and also sometimes we see the greatness in other people before they see it even in themselves. So it's like bringing that out in them.
that is an understatement. Absolutely. Anybody else would like to share? Don't speak all at the same time. and just reflect. Oh, go ahead.
Marie Paul has something.
Do you want to go ahead, Mary Paul, and share? You're muted.
Well, I had put it in the chat, but leadership sometimes is about inspiring others to lead and to take the lead on things. And it's also about leading yourself, right? To managing yourself, your emotions, your habits, and so on.
You're absolutely correct, Mary Paul. In fact, we'll touch on that. And I want to welcome Jonathan here from the Philippines, and Erica, and thank you for joining in here on Facebook here. And feel free to share your thoughts and comments in the comment section as we proceed with this training here this evening. Yeah, Mary Paul, you're absolutely dead on. I totally agree with you. Before we move on to the next slide, is there anybody else that would like to share? Tammy, why don't you share your thoughts on what this leadership means to you?
Well, I've always, and not because I'm in network marketing, but I've always led by example, because I believe that people need to be inspired to move forward and to try something. I see a lot of this online. For example, people who are doing fitness routines, people who are creating meal plans, things like that. They're leading by example for people to get inspired to want to make that recipe or, do that exercise or whatever it is, to get off the couch and start exercising, so that's, for me, it's always been about leading by example, and which will inspire others to want to do the same.
I totally agree. And here from Jonathan from the Philippines is lead ourselves first before we lead others. And it reflects what you were sharing, Mary Paul. This is absolutely correct. And we'll touch on that in reference to personal growth and evolving and so forth. So this is absolutely correct. Trying uncomfortable trails and creating new ways. In fact, you're absolutely correct, Sylvie. Absolutely dead on. In fact, Tammy and I are working on some things, and we reflected that with some of the leadership when we celebrate Tammy's birthday on some of the things that we're working with corporate to evolve and to be able to stay in the long term, considering how difficult today transportation and delivery and international business and import and export and duties and customs and taxes and everything is triple and quadruple. And so it's important to start thinking outside the box and thinking outside the box, I should say. So that's a very, very good comment. Absolutely correct, Sylvie. So moving on to the next slide, Tammy, you go ahead.
Yeah, because we tend to underestimate our daily actions just in our normal everyday life on leadership and what we represent. I think that everybody thinks leadership is some type of authority, a role, a rank in our circumstance, and we're all leading on a daily basis. Sometimes we're not even recognizing that. So the significance is the acts of leadership, recognizing that on a daily basis. What are you doing every single day that is making an impact on the people around you? I know that in my mentoring sessions or just having a conversation with a prospect, I tend to bring something into the conversation that will inspire them to want to act on something, and you don't realize it, you're just naturally doing it, and you're all doing it, and maybe you're just not recognizing it. So this the significance of recognizing those small gestures, whether you're doing the gesture or somebody else is doing something that you will need to recognize for their steps on their growth, on what they're doing in your business. And it's also in your life, you know, with your kids, with your grandkids, whatever it is, your friends, in connecting with your friends. And the right daily actions could impact the world. And I just made a perfect example of it on social media. Look at all the great things that people are doing out there. I know I get inspired. I've joined these groups that are like 50s, 60s plus that are in this fitness world, and I get inspired to want to be in my best health. So, you know, those actions are really, really important because they will make an impact on so many people. And leadership needs to be recognized and celebrated. So think about that as you do something to step forward, stepping out of your comfort zone. What are you doing to celebrate that victory for yourself? What are you doing to celebrate others in your team or even in your life? You know, I celebrated my granddaughter today with her graduation. It's about celebrating and recognizing, and people feel good when they're recognized or when they're celebrated.
I agree, Tammy, 100%. And Erica mentioned here on live, believing in others before they believe in themselves. That is, I wanted to mention that because it's absolutely dead on. So many instances as we were building our organization and doing our best to inspire people. One of the things that I see is if I will never exaggerate or again, it's a responsibility knowing that you have an influence over others, what you say to them. So it's never about trying to sound almighty, but it's to recognize people's talents even before they recognize their own. And there's one thing this is one of my gift I could say is, you know, often I could see someone's behavior and I could see the talent shining in them, but they're not seeing it. Because they're not seeing it, they're not exploiting it, they're not expanding on it. And as a mentor, this is something that I try to do. I say try because I can't force them to recognize their skills, but I bring it up, and I believe in them, and I believe in the possibilities. And this is one of the things that I think has been a strong reflection as to why we had such strong leadership around the world. You know, I'm not denying that today's economy is difficult for everybody, but the point remains is these leaders have done some amazing things, but once upon a time, there was a lack of confidence, right? So it brings me to this point. Now, Tammy, I'm assuming you were done on your slide.
Well, leaders know their goals. That's what's really important, and they accomplish their goals, and they're always moving forward in their business, in their normal life, and anything that they wanted to achieve. So the key is to get inspired to want to be that leader, and you already have it in yourselves. You just gotta shine. You just gotta bring it out there and recognize that.
Mm-hmm. And something that I know I've been talking, I know, Tammy, you heard me talk about this very often, is emotional intelligence versus high IQ. And this is what this means: emotional quotient versus intelligent quotient. We're talking the emotional intelligence versus someone who's intelligent with high IQ. It's not the high IQ that's going to define the success this person is going to have. It's one of the reasons when you got some very well-educated folks that are broke. And again, it's not being disrespectful. It's to bring into perspective the importance of what we call emotional intelligence. It's very, very important to be able to be perceptive and understand what is really going on that is not being said, but you can see it. That's called emotional intelligence. In fact, you can see some of the numbers there that 90% of variance was due to the emotional quotient, or I'm going to call it emotional intelligence, were the most crucial factor that will predict if you step up and take a lead in business and life, and your emotional intelligence that will define your success has a lot to do with that perception, this emotional intelligence, right? If you compare people in network marketing, it is not their IQ or their personality that will make them successful. Now, I'm not saying that it won't help. It is definitely an asset. I don't want to take that away, but it is the EQ, right? So the study also demonstrated that developing leadership skills without considering the cognitive strength led to minimal improvement. And this is an understatement. I mean, I have lived that. I have seen it. And I've seen some really educated folks that were very disappointed in the results they got into their business because they really never developed their leadership skills in thinking that it was not really all that important, right? We have these incredible products with this wonderful science and all of this wonderful stuff, but this is not what moves people. And this is important to understand if you want to be successful. And to be honest with you, in any endeavors. What are your thoughts on that, Tammy?
Absolutely. Lead with your heart and connect to people. That's how you're going to get people to open up to you, to share what it is that they desire in their life. So you won't get that by studying information. You have to connect. And that's why they say, network marketing is about developing relationships. And that's how you're going to really expand on that connection with people through emotional connection. So
I agree, Tammy.
Part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you do need to have knowledge. There's no question. But you want to lead with your heart and connect to people. They might ask for information that you'll guide them to information, but they really need to know that you're listening to them. They need to know that you care and you genuinely care about what their interests are or what their concerns are. And that's when you're going to make that connection with them to move them forward. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, next week, we're going to be talking about the self-awareness in reference to personal growth. Right. This is really, really important. So it's going to be, we're not going to do these series every single week, but it's going to be mixed with different things we're going to be talking about throughout the week as we share. But self-awareness is really, really important to do an evaluation of where we are and what we need to do and what we need to work on and what are the areas that we can get information to help us evolve. Because I mean, leadership is a skill, and we'll talk about that a little later, but it's something that you can learn, that you can evolve into. About 10% of the population are actual born leaders, but leadership is a skill, as we stated. So you can learn, you can evolve into it. And in fact, at one point, every single human being will have to demonstrate some kind of leadership in whatever endeavor they're into. Right. Moving on to the next slide, leading other people, personal development, which brings us on that point. So go ahead, Tammy.
Yeah. So the goal is to lead others to evolve in their skills, in their mindset, in their actions, on their daily actions. In our case with Max is to move them towards the next ranks, to generate that income, to accomplish that goal, to reach that dream, whatever it is that they desire to have, right? So that's what it's all about, is to lead. And every single one of you lead in some way. And I think it's really important for you to recognize, what are you really good at that makes that connection with people, that inspires people? What are some of the things that you do really well? And what are some of the things that you want to improve on? Being a catalyst for positive events, something that people want to grow into, being the lead on an event that's about to take place, showing up and leading these training calls, doing the opportunity presentations, being out there, making it happen, and inspiring others to take those baby steps to do those things too. So it's not just about leading you, it's about helping others get past whatever it is that's holding them back from getting to that next level, whatever that next level is for them. Okay, so that's how we build networks. That's how we've been able to build many, many teams around the world. And I know some of you have teams. So you need to think of that. I don't know if all of you are leading your people, the people that you bring in, the people that they bring in. Take a step back. Don't wait for others to do the work for you. That is a big one. Okay, take the lead. That's the bottom line. And being an influence to every single person that you meet. That is so, so, so important. And do things that other people are afraid to do. So you'll inspire them to want to be able to do it. Okay, and to recognize the impact that you have. It goes way beyond money and power, way, way, way beyond that. And you'll know when you help people evolve. You'll know when you're having a conversation with somebody and you ask them to take a step and they're so fearful of it, but they do it because they know you believe in them. And then the celebration that happens from that, it just brings goosebumps to me, because I know that we've helped many people, but I also remember when our leaders have helped us get over the hurdles going into leadership. And it's not easy, anything growing, it's scary, right? But it's also rewarding, and you don't know it until you do it. And that's the most important thing, is to just do it. I always say, just do it. And you'll know after. It wasn't as bad as what we put in our head of our accomplishments, right?
I agree. Completely agree, Tammy. And in fact, I just want to recognize some of the comments that Erica was sharing. In fact, before you were sharing some of the point that you brought in, Tammy, which are in line, is, create space for people to feel safe, to be seen, celebrated, and supported is top leadership. I mean, these are points that are very, very important. The power of leading with love and compassion, absolutely correct, right? I love the interaction I see here on Facebook Live, so thank you for doing that. And feel free to do the same here on the back end of Zoom. If you have any comments, anything you want to add, by all means, please do so. So, folks, becoming a leader, it's a very important step. Number one is you lead a productive, abundant life and business. This is the thing, is this is what the title is all about of this training, is choose to lead. So many people sit on the back end and they wait for someone else to make the decisions. And unfortunately, if you do this too much, again, I don't want to get political, but sometimes what happens is someone will take the lead, and the decisions they're going to make is not always for the greater good of the entire country, right? But if people are leading, and they're productive, and they tend to bring value, well, that has an influence. I mean, you don't realize, but your voice can actually have an impact that can actually change the world, right? Number two is that you'll increase your resilience as you choose to lead, the ability to perform without pressure of stress, because you're more confident. You're making decisions based on experience. And yes, when you lead, sometimes you'll get burned. You'll get, I get it. I totally understand that. But there's benefits, right? The resilience that will come out of that, right? You'll improve your relationship. And this is an understatement. As you lead, people will look up to you. They respect you, even if you make mistakes. And the one thing, if you make mistake, just admit that I made a mistake. It's totally cool. Be transparent about it. In fact, people will appreciate you, even if you made a mistake, that you're transparent about it and open about it, right? And as you choose to lead, you'll become a better communicator. You'll evolve. Doesn't matter how much education you have. I'm telling you, you will evolve. Your communication skills will improve. The clarity of your message will improve. You'll acquire self-awareness, self-confidence, and courage. These are all things, when you choose to lead, it transforms you. The moment you make the decision that you will choose to lead, it starts immediately. You may not be apparent right away, but internally it starts, and your mind is starting to shape towards that. It's really, really interesting, the power of choosing to lead, right? You'll be perceived as a trustworthy and competent by others. And this is what we want for you. We want you to succeed in whatever endeavor you choose, but you have to choose to lead. Very, very important. Any point you want to add to this, Tammy?
No, just the key is to make the decision and lead and move forward in your skills, in your mindset, in your actions. Those are the three main things that are going to get you to productivity, the goals that you want to achieve, your belief will go to a whole new level.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I want to kind of share this with you here, because I think there's a lot of value here. Is when you become a leader in your life and your business, you empower yourself to lead the life of your dreams, right? Tammy and I can relate to that. It is the most beautiful gift you'll give yourself as you benefit from the skills that you will develop by leading, right? Experience and knowledge that you have acquired, that you'll acquire throughout your journey to become a great leader, right? So these are the benefits I would just describe here. So this is really important, and we want you to lead. Very, very important. In fact, I find that as we evolve and technology evolves and everything changes, people are taking more of a backseat role and letting others take the space to lead because it's more comfortable. But the thing is, you don't want to be comfortable. You want to be uncomfortable and take a position of leadership. Your voice might be the voice that we need to evolve, to even solve issues that we're facing in whatever endeavor that might be going on here. So your voice is important and you matter. So moving on to the next slide. What's the truth about leadership, Tam?
Well, it's not a natural skill that's in most of us. And according to research, the best leaders are the ones that have grown their mindset and spent a lot of time working on their belief that they can actually be a leader and to go out there and make things happen. I'm talking business here. And if you're a mom, you're a leader. If you're a dad, you're a leader. You're leading the family, you're leading the children, you're leading by example. You take that same concept and bring it into your business in the business skill set and what we need to do to achieve in our goals in our business. And a growth mindset is a belief that any skills can be developed with dedicated and hard work and dedication and hard work. And that is absolutely true. It does take hard work. Achieving any goal requires a lot of work. But once you achieve it, it's possible. And that if you can do it, that other people can do it. And often people are looking at you doing something and they're in their mind going, well, if she can do it, I can do it too. So it encourages people to do the actions. So the right leadership is a skill you can develop with time, of course, a lot of patience and a lot of practice, and just constantly work on developing skills, developing communication skills. That's got to be the big one, right? Connection skills, communication skills, listening skills, massive. If you want to lead, you gotta be able to be a great listener to understand what it is that the people want around you, so that you can give them what they need so that they can evolve. And of course, behavior can influence the mindset of others. So, how you behave in an environment. You know, if you're in an environment where you need to inspire people, and if you're not inspirational, I mean, you're going to lose credibility. But if you're in front of a room and you're inspiring people to go after their dreams and do whatever it takes, and you know, everything is possible if you take that first step. You know, this is the kind of things that you want to do to build up not only your mindset, but the mindset of others, of course, and the environment in which they are. That is critical. The cohesion, I can't even say that, cohesion and efficiency of a group is to be able to come together and work just being coherent with each other. So that is very, very important. It can influence the amount of conflict that is experienced in the group. So the key is to build on doing the right things, integrity, you know, being authentic, and just leading with your heart. These three things are really, really big in leadership today. You're going to see it more and more and more. So you don't have to be the big superstar. You don't have to have the proper language to be able to move people. So of course you want to work on skills and everything, and your communication skills, but know that if you're out there making things happen, moving and shaking and inspiring and getting people to move into actions, you're leading.
I agree. I agree, Tammy. And you know, I want to focus on the last one over here, because one of the reasons why many teams don't grow in a way that they're meant to grow, they're meant to grow, has a lot to do with the ability to deal with this big word here called conflict. And when you're dealing with challenges within groups and leaders, what's really important to keep in mind here is never take sides, ever, never. If someone turns around and comes to you in confidence and talking about someone else, you have to be the bigger leader. I'm not saying to make the person feel bad talking about that someone else, but it's to, you as a leader is to bring this into perspective, make them understand what they're doing by talking like that. And from there, you're going to be able to be this incredible mediator, to be in between the two situations to solve the problem. The moment you take sides, and even because sometimes people don't necessarily take sides because they want to take side with that person, it's because they're trying to be friendly, they're trying to be understanding, they're trying to be compassionate. And by doing that, they take sides with them. But then the other person turns around and they take side with the other person, and you're not helping your team. And this is one of the reasons why instead of expanding, you're imploding. Because when there's conflicts like this, unfortunately, teams won't evolve. Nobody wants to work in an environment they don't feel appreciated, they don't feel respected. So I'm bringing this up because this is a very, very important topic. Is the experience in dealing with the conflict within your organization. Very, very important. So I thought of mentioning that. And as we come to our last slide here, guys, important to understand that there has been studies. These studies, you know, based on what Tammy and I have come across, I was mentioning that over 300,000 business leaders reveal the following top abilities, right? All of these skills can be developed and utilized in various areas of your life. And as you can see them, just kind of walk you through them. There's 10 of them. Is strategic thinking. When you come across challenges or issues or whatever the situation may be, is to sit back and just reflect on it and find a strategy to either overcome the problem or to expand on something that was well done, to make it bigger, to make it better. Number two is inspiring and motivating. And I know we all touched on that. Is if someone does something, regardless of how small it is to recognize that and inspire them for taking initiative in doing that, and motivate them to go further, knowing that they've done this, they can go so much further. Again, sharing the vision, the possibilities. Really critical thinking, analyzing, and problem solvings, and the abilities to overcome whatever challenges that you may come across, and but in the same time to be in a position to evaluate what's going on, and okay, what's the best direction. And you're not always going to find the answers, but as a team, you have a collective mind that could come up with incredible solution and direction that can help you take some direction. As a matter of fact, I'm hearing some background noise here. I'm not sure where it's coming from. Demonstrating transparency, integrity, and honesty. I was just talking about that. You're a human being. We all make mistakes, and sometimes we do things we didn't meant to do it, but at the heat of the moment, it just came out. But then you come back and you reflect on this, and transparency is saying that, you know what, I realize I was wrong, and people appreciate that. It makes you a human being. The other thing is, we talked about that the 5 levels of leadership with John C. Maxwell is level number 4, which is leader level 4 is developing others, right? Developing others, other leaders, to be able to duplicate what you did. It's all part of how we do business. Driving results. It's important to encourage people to do the work, to do the steps, but in the same time, we want to measure results. We want to drive somewhere. We want to end up in a direction that will give people the ultimate dream, the goal that they want to achieve. And for that, we need to measure the work that we've done, the steps that we're doing, so we can drive towards results and not just keep pedaling and never have any kind of results. So this is important. Tammy touched on that, communicating and in a powerful way that's effective, that makes people want to achieve, that makes people want to do the work, right? Communication is so important. Often I forgot who I was telling this to, Tammy. We were talking to some friends, I think. And one of the things I would redo if I would go back to school, because for me, it was all science and math and physics and computer science. That's the thing. That's where I was so hung on. And when it came to my communication in English or French is, whatever. And I didn't emphasize on that. In fact, I remember, excuse me, I remember telling my son and I know that he's doing this. Son, if there's one thing that you need to do right now, is he's doing his last, in fact, there's 2 more credits and he needs to finish to graduate his university degree. I said, focus on your English, focus on your communication skills. Because if you have developed these skills, you can do anything. You can sell anything. You can get any jobs. Communication skills is absolutely critical. Very, very important. Number 8 is, Tammy touched on that also, is to build a relationship. Really important. Focus on that relationship. People like to do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. And that will occur through the relationship. That's what we do for a living. And this ecosystem that we call network marketing. And again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be network marketing. It could be anything in life. Anytime you deal with people, right? This is a basic foundation. Number 9 is display technical and professional expertise, right? So there's some things that you're very good at. There's some things that your other team members might be really good at. And as a community, we could be absolutely perfect because we got the language covered. We got the science covered. We have the understanding of the computer world or whatever. It's covered. We have all sort of things, the relation. It's the community that actually grow an organization to be that can reach these incredible levels. So very, very important is the teamwork, right? And displaying all of these skills that we have. And number 10 is creating innovation, right? To be innovative. Think of, okay, what else can we do? What else can we add to what we're doing to make things better, to be able to stay the course and way into the future, knowing what's coming tomorrow or what's happening today, which is a sign of what's coming tomorrow. So this again, these are the 10 skills that can be developed, and you can find these. And as we go along with these trainings, Tammy and I are gonna share with you some resources with you that you can take advantage of. And these are very, very important. And again, we're putting this ebook together with a lot of stuff, a lot of resources that if someone takes advantage of this, it could completely change their lives. So that kind of ends my segment here, Tammy. And as we end this training here, what are your thoughts as we complete this training segment today?
Yeah, just take action. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, for us to grow as humans, we need to adjust to the changes, the changes in the environment, the changes within, and to move forward. You got to know your goals. You got to know your dreams. If you haven't got a vision board put together and you're not staring at that thing every single day to know what it is that you want to accomplish, then most likely you're not going to move towards it. And don't let the environment hold you back from everything that you want to be, do, and have. Because, I mean, the news, everything that's going on, you're hearing all kinds of stuff today. It's like, oh my gosh, turn it off. Let's get a life. Let's get a great life, you know, and the possibilities are there. You see it all the time. There's people evolving in trying times all the time. You look on social media, you know, when the pandemic kicked in, you know, a lot of people did really well through the pandemic. And then others just sat in confusion or started cleaning their house or doing their gardens or whatever people were doing. And they just went into avoidance mode, knowing that things were evolving, things are changing. We have to do something different to get to another level. And it's always going to be that way, you guys. Always, always, always. As long as I've been in business, and this is going back many, many, many years, as long as I've been personally in business, I'm not talking network marketing, I'm talking business. There was always things that was evolving. And if I didn't adjust and get creative in those environments, then I wouldn't be where I am today at all. I remember some big decisions that I was making in my swimsuit company, my designing company. When the September 11th hit, nobody's flying. I'm a swimsuit designer. Everybody goes on vacation and flies to tropical places. Guess what I had to do? Recreate myself. So I started doing team costumes, synchronized swimming teams, gymnastics, figure skating, all kinds of stuff. So I had to recreate myself while this situation was going on where people weren't flying. Eventually, people got flying again. But you have to adjust in the environment and lead and lead. Don't wait, lead. Create something that's going to help your business evolve in a month. What can you do right now in your own business? What can you do right now that's going to increase your income by 10% at the end of the month? What can you do? Think of your income right now, and you want to increase it by 10%. What do you need to do right now? And then you take action on it. And these
I can give you some clues on that. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Give you some clues on what you can work on. One is many of you have associates that have been sitting there that you haven't contacted in weeks, maybe months, maybe even years. Go through your expression Rolodex, in fact, your contact in your back office, and start contacting people. Hey, how are you? We haven't spoken in X amount of years or days, or just want to check up with you, even if they're inactive. Maybe if they went on to other deals, whatever, reach out to them. Because I assure you that things changed. I'm telling you, a lot of people will go around and will think it's greener on the other side until they stand on the other neighbor's grass, realizing It's not all that great here either. I kind of miss where I was. And they're kind of shy to come back because they felt like they left the family and they're a little uncomfortable. And you reaching out to them may actually be that one step that says, you know what, I'd like to try the product again. And then they get another product experience. And this could lead to, you know what, I'd love to continue. I'd like to build a business again. You know how many times we've got that, Tammy and I? So this is something that you can do. So Tammy, I ask you, what can you do to increase your income by 10%? That is one of those really important keys. As a matter of fact,
promotion right now too. So leverage that promotion. I'm doing it. Everybody I'm talking to, I talked to a few people just today and yesterday, just connecting with them. You know, when there's a celebration of some sort, what an easy way to connect with people, like Father's Day. Contact all the guys you know that are dads. And then talk to them about health, talk to them about the promotion that's going on. You know, hey, have you ever tried the 357 yet? Oh my gosh, it's on promotion. You got to get one, you know? And if you want to have a healthy brain, healthy eyes, healthy, I'm sure you want to have that. And you just get them to place an order.
I agree. So as we end this, right? As we end this session here today, what's important is keep in mind, again, is take action. And next week, we're going to be talking about key skills of leaders and self-assessment. This is really important. Tammy and I have spent ridiculous amount of money to learn these things that we kind of know, but it's like you don't know what you need to know. I don't know if that came across right. It's really interesting, but sometimes you kind of you have to go through these stages to realize, I knew that. Why didn't I do that? But the fact is, what we're sharing with you here is really, that's my message. It's really important information. Don't think that it doesn't have the same value as spending $30,000 a year for, because I'm telling you, this is what you're getting. This is what we get. We're telling you this. We're telling you this. You're part of this family that we want to help. Take this stuff and run with it. Act on it. So next week, we're going to be helping you to do a self-assessment of who you are and what are the skills you need to work on and where can you acquire these skills. So hope that you'll be able to make it next week. And don't show up alone, folks. If you show up alone, you learn. But if you show up with your team, you earn while you learn. Always keep that in mind. So we'll end on this note. Tammy, was there anything else that you would like to end on? Or is there anybody in the group here that had any comments, feedback? And I think thank you for all of you here on Facebook Live that have been sharing. It's awesome to have you here. Okay, I think we're good here. I think we've covered all the questions. And so Tammy, was there anything else you want to add as we end? Is there anybody else that want to share too?
No, I'm good.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay,
wonderful. Well, everybody listen, have yourself a wonderful, wonderful evening. And thank you for attending. I hope you'll be there next week. We'll have a great training for you. And we'll look forward to share. Bye for now. Bye, everybody.